I'm sorry, Dustin. I had a little
It's okay.
technical problem. Okay, you were telling me that you go up there. The anniversary of this happening just passed, so you go up there.
Yeah. It was last week. I went up there. Every 4 years ago is when the incident to me happened. It was my encounter, shooting or whatever you call it. And I go up there every year on the same day, spend the night, and sit there where it happened, and just I don't know. I guess I have some sort of an idea that like maybe they would do the same thing, but I don't give them quite that much credit. The Sasquatches.
What they go up
But
there for? What?
if somehow they knew that I was there because that happened at that day, or somehow they returned to the scene of the crime,
Oh,
sort of style.
like
I don't know.
like
I don't really think that. I just go there to pay the respect
yeah. For
to
some
remember it.
reason, you feel that, right? You feel
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just no different than remembering an anniversary or anything like that.
yeah. So you're compelled to go there every year.
Well,
Be,
I spent
be,
most of the summer there. I spent about, we'll say, 75 days there this year.
hmm
And our research time is like August, September, October. Then about midway through October, it just gets too cold and we got to get out.
Yeah.
I could handle the cold or whatever, but everything just turns to ice. It's just
hmm
too high up there, and you get way too much snow.
I bet. Okay, can you explain to me? You said it was at dusk that you were there. That's when you first saw it. But how well can you see during dusk? Explain to
Well,
me.
it was 4 years ago. It was probably, but when we got out to the main highway, it was still legal shooting time, which is a half an hour after sunset. So probably when this all happened, it was probably we had an hour and a half of light still in the day. Then it went on for 20 or 30 minutes. I mean, you can see it as good as you can see anything. Most of the animals that you shoot at about sunset as a hunter, big game animals,
Okay.
or the reverse in the morning. So the clarity was 100%, no question about
Oh.
that.
Yeah, I'm not a hunter, never been. Uh, I really don't like shooting animals, but that's probably because I don't eat them, and
Right.
I wasn't raised in the country. I was raised in this kind of like in the city, but I've had my experiences when I was a kid, about different types of encounters. Nothing like you did, but let's go back to where you thought it was a bear at first. Did you? Right? Is that right?
Just half of a second.
Sure.
I'm gonna move this. Sorry,
No, no, that's quite all right.
back to the shooting, something.
Oh, I was saying you first thought it was a bear, right?
Okay, so yeah, well, first glance, yeah, we're driving down the road, and you just see like a flash or whatever. I can pick up that there's movement, and my head turns, and my buddy's right next to me. I'm the passenger, he's the driver, and so he sees my head turn, and like you kind of have a body language, or you kind of react when you see something. I look
Mm-hmm.
over, and we both look over at the same time, and yeah, the first maybe half of a second or so, I was like, oh, that's a bear because it's the color of a. No, it's not a bear. Like it was an immediate thing where, like, a first reaction, you see movement, you expect it to be what you're looking for, but it wasn't.
But was it
Then from
on
there,
all
it just became
fours?
like people say, "Oh, why did you decide to shoot?" or whatever, or what was the point? So you're in a car. This thing's obviously not threatening you. Then you decide to shoot it, and my answer is like, "Oh, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is."
Okay, but was it
Uh,
on four legs and then it stood up?
when I first saw it, it was on two legs. It took about maybe 8 steps towards me. Fluid motion bipedally, like a person.
It
And then when I
took
shot it,
steps to the car that you were in, right?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
we see it. It's on the side of a hill, approaching a meadow. I'm sitting inside the car. I'm sitting inside a Bronco 2, big lifted truck, and we just catch the movement, look over. To me, I'm just like, what is this? This shouldn't be here. Like almost out of my
Right.
fear, putting
Yes.
my gun pointing towards it. then I'm just like, well, this shouldn't be here. This isn't right. What's going
Exactly.
on? Like, I mean, my reasons weren't. I won't like try to defend my reasoning for what I did. I'm just telling you what happened. Like,
Yes, yes.
Looking back, I could say it's a poor decision to shoot anything that you don't know what it is. Looking back, I could say it's a poor decision to shoot anything that you don't have a license or a tag for, or you just shouldn't shoot anything you're not going to eat in the first place, too. I mean, there's plenty of reasons not to do it, but at the time, it just, my attitude was just, well, what is this? Why is it here? It shouldn't be here. It's not a person, and it's not a bear.
How do you know it wasn't a person in like a ghillie suit or something?
Well,
how do you know?
Yeah, there was probably, like, let's say I thought it was a bear for the first 2 seconds. For the next 10 seconds in my head, I'm trying to rule out person in a suit. And I'm literally looking left and right, thinking there's a camera crew, and we just came in. They must be filming the new Star Wars or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That's really, like, first reaction. I'm looking at, like, that thing's by itself. Nothing around. That thing, it's huge. It's lifelike. It's scary. It's real.
It was very big. It was like 8 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet tall or something.
Yeah, 7.5, 8 feet. I used to say 600 pounds. Now I look at basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
Big guys like Shaquille O'Neal. They're 350 pounds, and he's 7 foot something or another. And I'm thinking, well, he was probably more like that. Well, he only weighs 350 pounds. So now I don't know how much they weigh. I'm just basing that off of it was more the proportion of a huge black guy.
Yeah.
Huge basketball player. But it was just huge. It was just, and the color, like, some people say, like, oh, yeah, well, what color is it? What did it look like? And the color, to me, it was almost white. I mean, it looked like
really?
A gray, pale coyote, almost like a Shih Tzu or like a...
Like shiny or something? Was it...
No, just the color of a pale coyote. Just, like something that you would think, you'd look at it and you'd say, how could that hide in the woods? Like, It doesn't have any camouflage. It's not dark. It's not black like a burnt stump.
Any snow on the ground at this
like
time? Any snow?
I could see the face very clearly. I've done some, I probably couldn't describe them, but I've done a lot of artist renderings, and some are very different than others.
Yes, I've seen some of those.
Yeah, and it's like, at the time, like, I did one, and then at the time, it was almost like my memory started to change. And I started to be like, you know what, I think his nose looked a little bit flatter. I think this or that. And then now I wonder if the original one that I did, Sibylla, Irwin, I believe that the recreation I did with her was the right one, because that was the closest to the time. But then over the period, your memory changes a little bit.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
But as far as the description, yeah, the color of a coyote.
You just wish that you were an artist, right? So you could do it correctly. Okay, so after you shot it, you said it went down, and. When did you notice the two little ones, the babies?
So, I shoot, it goes down, starts running away. And I was going to shoot it again. I had the shot, only had about a half a second to get the shot into it. And I know it's definitely going to be a kill shot, like 2 shots is going to bring anything down. Because I made a good shot on it, and usually you shoot a deer around 100 yards or whatever, like the size of a football field. Runs into the woods and drops dead, and you follow the blood trail. They rarely die where you actually shoot them, but this particular time I rechambered, I was real quick on it, and I had the second shot. I was definitely going to get the kill shot. I'm squeezing, my buddy says, oh wait, there's more. And he was already saying don't shoot and this and that, all this other kind of stuff. But when he said there's more, that was like, I don't think he could have said anything that would have shocked me more.
Oh my goodness.
And so it was such a shocking thing that I literally stopped, and I was like, oh wait, what?
Where?
There's more? So I was looking at my scope of this. So this one ends up getting away, the big one. And I look over and I see small ones coming out of the brush, following where the adult had gone, obviously the parent. And I don't really know. I think it was a male. I mean, I didn't see boobs at all. And if Patty's real and they're that dominant, then I would have obviously noticed that. So I'm going to say that it was a male adult.
Okay.
It looked like a man to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the juveniles run off towards it. So we take off in the truck, off the road, off-roading, and driving. We end up hitting a stump and crashing a little bit. And then we just take off. Yeah, but it wasn't that big. Like, we were just driving.
Just a little fender bender.
Off the road until something really stopped me. Boom.
Okay. It was the excitement. I'm imagining it was the excitement. of the moment.
Yeah. This was somewhere a moment of panic. I mean, obviously we're approaching them, so we're not scared out of our minds or anything like that. We're like, what is this? What's going on here? And my buddy, the only thing he's really said up to this point is don't shoot. It's a person in a suit. Don't shoot, not a bear. There's more. Mm-hmm. Then as soon as they ran off, he hit the gas. He was right there with him. Let's chase this thing down. Let's go get it. And
okay, so the babies, approximately how much do you think one of them weighed, or they weighed individually?
Well, eventually I ended up shooting one of the juveniles, and I took it in my hand and tried to curl it. And at the time I was doing 55-pound curls. And so I'm saying this to say I know I had to be right at about 35 pounds, like just the small 3.5.
So what do you mean curled it? What do you mean by that? What do you mean curl it? You picked it up by its scruff or something?
It was dead, and we were trying to figure out how big it was, and I had been doing curls at the gym or whatever, working out. I knew I could do 55 pounds, and a bear has to be 50 pounds to legally harvest. And so we were talking about the idea of killing one of the little ones and putting the bear tag on it. This is maybe I'm getting a little too detailed or whatever, but this is just maybe these details are new to some people. I don't know that they're not interesting to other people. So maybe I should skip forward,
I find it very interesting. Okay, so when you picked it up, did it smell? What did it smell?
So I shoot it at very close range, ridiculously close for a high-powered rifle. Maybe only across the long room in your house, sort of a distance, which is very close to have a wild animal or whatever they are. And it's up a steep incline, falls down to my feet. I pick it up, it's bleeding. It was kind of like for lack of a better description, it was like a puppy where they have so much loose skin.
Right.
Like, you have a puppy where you grab it and you can grab a handful. It doesn't hurt them and it's just loose. It was like that. And so, because I didn't, what are you going to do, grab it by the ears or what?
No.
I didn't know how to,
where
hold
to
it like
grab
a baby.
it.
I don't know. So I grabbed it by the chest like this, and my hands just, pulled out its skin. Like a puppy, where it's just got so much loose skin, where it's got so much growing to do. And so I'm sitting there holding it, and I'm looking at it, just holding it by the chest. And then, my buddy were like, hey, we'll say that it's a bear. That we thought it was a bear, and we shot it. We'll put a bear tag on it. And he's like, well, a bear's got to be 50 pounds. We know that. And we're like, yeah, you think it's 50 pounds? So I'm sitting there and I try to curl it. I was like, oh, no, man, that's about 35 pounds. And so well, I don't think that would have worked anyways. You want to take it? We're arguing, we're fighting, we're panicking. He's upset that I shot a little one. I think that we should bring in proof. We just saw a game warden earlier. We ended up deciding that we're going to come back the next day and pick it up. We know that the game warden's waiting at the gate. There's one way in, one way out sort of thing. So we decide that we're just going to come back the next day. We do it all the time. I mean, half the time when I shoot a deer, I shoot it from bottles with a candy, and we come back the next morning and get it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you thought that, and then you wanted to bury it so that you could come back the next day and check it out?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure it was so we took and drug it a little further into the woods, into some alder patches, so these really thick berry brush. And we would put it in there. We put all kinds of stuff on top of it, just stumps and leaves and dirt and rocks, everything. We just piled it on top. I mean, the whole situation lasted about 5 minutes. There's time to let loose stuff. We're grabbing, kicking loose dirt and all that. Yeah. So we bury this thing. We get out of there. We don't even see the word on the way out. We're still panicked. We don't really talk about anything that happened for... we tried to go back the next day, but a storm moves in.
Oh, I see.
But between all then, we never talked about it. We never said a word about it on the drive home or anything. Then several days, we tried to go back. We never really talked. We just, start driving. Snow comes. We end up forget it. We can't get up there. It's at 7,000 feet. They close down the highways. They close down everything. You just can't get there when it's snowing. Yeah, you can run a snowmobile, but you can't. There's too many issues with that.
Hey, but did it make any sounds? Like it was, if it was dying or it was dead, did it make any type of sound? The big one,
after I shot it, it ran away, and we heard it crash. So we felt confident that it was dead somewhere over there, just because that's usually what happens when you shoot a deer or anything else.
You didn't want to go over there and look? You didn't want to go over there and look at it? See what happened?
Well, no, we tried. We tried looking for the big one extensively. I mean, it ran over, crashed into the brush, slightly out of sight.
Oh.
And that's when we end up walking towards the big one. We see the little ones up close, and that lasts for 5 or 15 minutes. I don't know. It was a long time of being with the little ones and seeing them. They're just moseying around like animals, like a dog or anything, looking for their parent, obviously. And like kind of sad, kind of heartbreaking.
That's so sad. That is so sad.
They're going left and right. They're looking for their parent, and we're doing the same thing. We never found the adult. Have no idea. It could still be alive, really. It's unlikely that it would survive a wound like that, but we don't know. An elk could survive a shot like that. So you think, you know what, a Sasquatch could too. Like looking back at it, I don't know. The little ones, though, they would have a lot of communication towards each other. They sounded like a deaf person talking to another deaf person.
Like chattering or something?
What?
Were they chattering?
They would come up next to each other about like 10 feet away, like looking at each other and shrug their shoulders. Almost like body movement, like a horse, and a horse is communicating to another horse almost when they're sitting there. And they were making noises, but they were just and then the other one would say something similar, like or whatever, and then they'd split up. And I don't know if they were actually talking languages or if they were barking kind of at each other. I don't know if they were using words, but that's all it sounded like. But the communication was obvious, though. Yes. They were saying, you know what your dog says when you come home, and you've been gone for a long time or anything like that. It was just like that. You could just tell.
Yeah, they probably have.
Did you check by the tree? Did you check by the stump?
Right.
Where have you seen
some type of language they probably developed? What do you think?
And I can't say if it's a language. Like a deer has like 30 different things it can say to another deer, just from a grunt, or. So it could be something around that line. I couldn't tell. It was a weird pitch. They were missing like a vocal that we have.
Okay.
I mean, it was just it wasn't on the same sort of frequency that our voice sounds like.
Did Derek Randalls get mad at you when you did this and you said that you went and buried?
I like Derek a lot. We've had our run-ins. We've had our disagreements. He's as good a guy as you can find, all that stuff, yada, yada, good friends. But we definitely butted heads. I mean, he would say that as much as anybody. He was very upset at the story. He was, the more that he got into it, the more he didn't like it, but the more that he felt committed to see it through. And so I would go do an interview and I would talk about it, and he would be like, he'd call me, hey man, I'm disgusted by the way you talked about that. You acted like you didn't even have feelings towards these animals. You acted like you just went out and shot somebody. And I could see where he was coming from. He was coming from, an emotion. He was emotionally disturbed by what happened.
I am too.
Yeah. So it's fair, and that was really all our disagreements ever came down to. He found it hard to work with me. Originally, he wanted to give me some cameras, and he did. He provided me with some trail cameras and some equipment to try to use in the field. Then made me a part of the Olympic project, and then eventually he just said, you know what? It seems like you want to kill another one, and I'm just not down for that. We just cannot research together. We can be hunting buddies, but not Bigfoot.
Well, is that true? Are you still wanting to shoot one?
Yeah. I mean, the short answer is yes. The short answer is I want proof no matter what. I've gotten to the point. But I mean, originally, because it's interesting you bring up Derek, because originally, I saw Derek's point of view, and I was like, yeah, you're right. These are animals. They have intelligence. Why would we do this to them? They're just trying to be by themselves. Like, let them do their thing. They're not hurting nobody.
Okay.
Let's protect them. Then all of a sudden, over the period of a couple of years of getting called a liar and this and that, then it became a thing to where I just got angry, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm ready to see this through no matter what it takes. And if that means killing one, I hope it doesn't. I found some dens a couple weeks ago that I'm very excited about pulling DNA out of. But right now, if somebody kills one, I'm not going to lose any sleep at night.
Well,
I'm sure that sounds callous and whatever, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I don't promote the killing of Bigfoot, Sasquatch,
Right.
just to prove that it's, we know it's real. That's why we're here. That's why I'm
Right.
here. In our group, Sasquatchology, uh, we promote no kill,
Right.
And it's very disturbing to me what you had just told me.
That's a much better stance to take.
Yes, that's very. Before I close, because I promised you a very quick interview, right? I have a friend, a very dear friend, and he's kind of like a mentor to me. And he wanted me to ask you this, and I preferred to ask you this at the end because you might get upset about it.
Oh no, we're good. Shoot
Okay.
away. I mean, it's just I'll be honest with you. You be honest with me. That's
Okay.
everything. We don't have to agree.
Yes, sir. Okay. My friend wanted me to ask you, why did you make all this up?
I have a lot of people that think that this was somehow proved that it came back as bear DNA. I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of evidence that supports my story, like Bart's Thermal, or the several people that have had sightings up there, or this or that. But it's all circumstantial. It's all, maybe I picked a really good location to do a hoax, people could say. Maybe I saw a Bigfoot track and decided to make the whole thing up, or something like, I don't know. But, I can take a lie detector, I can do whatever I can do to try to prove that I'm telling the truth. If somebody doesn't believe me, that's up to them.
Was it Dr. Ketchum?
I won't fault somebody for that.
Sir, was it Dr. Ketchum that did the DNA, one of the DNA samples?
Dr. Ketchum said that she tested some DNA and it came back as Sasquatch.
What?
That was from my sample. And she said that many times she had what she said was a peer-reviewed paper that proved that. I don't. What I have a sample of is most likely not from what I shot. We didn't cut it off the body or anything like that.
Can you state the doctor's full name, please?
Melba Ketchum said that I shot a Bigfoot and she had proof of it. And I think that she is not a person of integrity. I mean, she is. I don't need to fight with nobody. That they can do their own thing or whatever. But anybody that knows me, or works with me or anything like that, they at least say that I'm honest. And I feel like she's not an honest person. I don't know if any of her research is real. I don't know what she did or didn't do.
Okay, so what about that sample they tried to scrape off your boot? Wasn't that proved to be a bear? Well, how did it make you feel when they said that was...
Well, that's actually a common misunderstanding. And so I did a British documentary with such and such film crew. And
I think I remember that.
They had a lot of mistruths in the way that they edited it. The boot came back positive for blood.
Yes.
They said there is blood on here. They could not identify what type of blood it is. They said, in fact, that it's most likely not a bear. Nobody the boots have been tested by 3 different labs. Nobody's came back and said that this was a bear. That was more. It was an untruth told by the Channel 4 BBC film crew, in my opinion, and they actually agreed and admitted to that in an email. They're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we edited it that way. That was just it's just a confusing story, and there's so many details."
They were basically...
But the boots have never come back with bear DNA, and they just haven't.
That's amazing. Well, that was the last question actually I had for you, but I need to tell you that I'm very, I don't know the word that I could use. I'm shocked that you would want to shoot another Sasquatch.
Yeah, no, it's not pretty. It's not like it's one of those things where, like, is it right? No. I mean, I'm not fighting that. But the pictures and the video and all that, it's not enough. The DNA, it does come back as a bear, this or that. I don't know. I think that science is they have high standards and they need a body. And I think it's easier to shoot one than it is to film one. And there's a lot of reasons for that. You could shoot one in a half a second real quick with a night vision scope. You got to have a lot more equipment to try to film one and get good enough video to actually get anything worthwhile. It's sad, I guess, but I'm just too calloused over everything I've been through. With people want to call me a liar, this and that.
Yes,
They
sir.
made the whole
I
thing
understand.
up.
No,
Like,
I
that's
understand.
fine. We'll see. I mean, I hope somebody brings in proof. I don't care if it's me, and if it's up to me, I'll be able to prove it through DNA in a den, through some hair, through a bedding area, or something like that.
Have you ever heard of that in Austin, Texas? Have you ever heard of that Iceman that's up there that they
The
have?
Minnesota Iceman thing?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that there was a real body, and then somehow it was replaced by something else. But like that there was a genuine body, and they have reasons to believe that it was real. Then nowadays it's just like some sort of recreation with the wax or something, or just I don't really know the details.
Mm-hmm. That was a question that one of my friends asked, but I promised you a short interview, and I'm rather shocked at you wanting to shoot another one, sir. I mean, I really don't see a need for that, but
Right.
You're a hunter, and I've never been hunting in my life, other than when I was a kid, with a little BB gun, shooting one of those kadids out of the tree, in our backyard. But okay, well, this is going to conclude our interview. Don't hang up yet. Thank you, sir.